It gets to the manufacturer, and they say the item has been reported stolen by the original owner. There is a police report, and unfortunately, we cannot give it back. I know I review equipment that is not for everyone's budget, but you can always have dreams and aspirations. Remember that. Okay. I came from nothing. I came from Polk audio speakers, on-cure receivers. Yes, on-cure receivers. And I was using Monster cable, believe it or not, the cheapy $20 Monster cable. And I thought I had good sound. I was in love. I was happy with what I was hearing, and I didn't know any better. We all start somewhere. But over time, just to give you a quick idea of what happened, I remember I bought the first amplifier. I think it was a Rotel 1095. I think it was the model. It's a 5-channel amplifier from Rotel. I remember I bought it for my home theater, and I fried 2 tweeters from my Polk Audio LS9 speakers. Look them up. I remember I fried 2 tweeters because I overdrove the speakers. And so I ended up selling the 1095 Rotel amplifier. Great amplifier, by the way. And I made money. I actually made, I think it was like $200 when I sold it. So now I had a larger budget to buy the next component, right? So I went out there and bought a Classe Audio. I think it was the 2200, the stereo amplifier. And that was my first random real amplifier at that point, real 2-channel amplifier, right? For the most part, I've only owned at that point 5-channel and 7-channel amplifiers. So then I moved on to that Classe Audio. And I think I sold it after a while because I wanted to try something else, and I ended up making like $400 on that. Now I had a larger budget, got into the $2,000 amplifiers, got an NAD. I can't remember. It was a big, heavy NAD. And this is something you may not know about me, but I'm going to share something really cool. Cool story, by the way. It might resonate with some of you. I remember driving all the way from Miami to Orlando. That's about a 3.5-hour drive for me. 7 hours round trip. And I remember driving to pick up a Past Labs 350.5 power amplifier. Excited. I figure it was, less than market value, right? I drove out there, picked it up, brought it from a second floor, lifted it with the guy, hauled it home, and I was in love with Past Labs at that point in time. I ended up making like $500-$600 on the sale of that Past Labs amplifier. Kept moving on, right? Kept moving on to the next one. What was the next one? I think it was a Quell amplifier. I went to a Quell amplifier at that point. And I bought it, I think, from a local audiophile, random person. I didn't know the guy. That was my first try with Quell amplifiers. All this time, I am using a lot of Polk audio speakers throughout all these trials, right? Not knowing any better, read a lot of Polk audio forums, believe it or not. So I have to say I did. I used to read a lot on Polk audio. Then I ran into a Bryston amplifier at a local, it was someone selling it out of a storage unit. Very, very hot, very, very hot, humid inside that storage unit, right? And I was afraid that the amplifier would not work when I took it home. So I negotiated hard because I said to him, what if the amplifier is not working anymore because of this humid storage facility where you have it? So he sold it to me for a very good deal. I took it home. Guess what? The Bryston amplifier worked perfectly for at least 2 years or something like that. Sold that, made some money. So as I started to do these things, I started to realize, wait a minute, I'm getting better at this. I'm getting much better at doing this. So I started to look for deals on Craigslist at that point in time and sit down for this story, sit down for this next one. I kept looking on Craigslist, and I remember I found some JL Audio subwoofers. They were like the F113s. So I said, I'm not going to buy an amplifier. I'm going to buy those F113s and flip them. So I bought 2 JL Audio F113s, the version 1, Fathom version 1. So I sold them. I made about $1,000 on those. Now we're talking here, guys, we're talking 15 years ago, long time ago. So I figured, wow, I got a larger budget now. What do I do next? So I saw a deal on a Class A audio. At that point in time, the big killer processor was a Class A audio processor. I think it is like the 800 model. I can't remember. it was the theater, it was the C, I think it was a CT something series, but it was the hot model Class A audio processor at that point in time, right? It was in a very bad city here in Florida called Hialeah. Hialeah, if you don't know anything about Hialeah, Hialeah is, think about the worst slum probably where you could go buy, anything. Like think about your a very shady neighborhood in your neck of the woods. Okay. At that point in time, Hialeah was really in a really bad position. Now it's gotten a lot better. Okay. More people have moved in there. It's more developed. There's actually nicer people living there. But before it was really bad. So guess what? I found that deal. And the guys tell me, this is the address where you need to meet us, right? And it was like $2,000, right? I said, okay, so I'm excited because I'm getting that for like $600 less than market value. I was looking online on eBay, and it was every one of those processors was selling for like $600 above what they wanted for this one. So I drove out there, right? And right halfway through this drive, I am like, man, I get to the place and I'm thinking, what if I get robbed? What if I get killed? I got cash on me. They know I'm coming with $2,000. Remember, the audiophile in me all this time is only thinking about the deal and the fact that I'm getting a great processor, that I've always wanted to play with this processor. I'm so excited to bring it. It was the hottest freaking processor in the market at that point in time. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'm going to be watching movies on that thing. I'm super excited, right? The audiophile in me made me drive. I get to the place, and it was a very obscure warehouse. It was daytime, but it was still dark inside. Weird people working there, but it was only like 4 people working there. And I'm like, man, this feels like not a good place to come and do business with $2,000, right? And I'm like, should I leave now, or are they going to still chase me and rob me? So I'm thinking, well, let's hope for the best, man. Let's hope for the best. Let's do it. So I walked in there, and I say, okay, I'm the guy that wanted to buy this processor. Oh yeah, it's in the back. It's in the back. Come with us to the back. I'm thinking that might be the last time my family hears from me. I'm literally thinking that. So I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. I went to the back, and I'm thinking there's probably going to be 2 guys in the back, and I'll be taken out. Get there. Nope, the processor is sitting on a table. It looked like they had just pulled it from a job because it has a lot of dust on it. I paid for the processor, right? All good. Take it home. Work fine. I'm happy. But of course, remember, I was already in the habit of buying and reselling, right? So I'm thinking at that point, I want to try something even better. So I'm doing it at this point because I am going through a lot of gear for my own pleasure, listening pressure. I got the opportunity at that point to try many different components. And so I am buying the next component. And well, what happens is I throw it up on eBay. And I sold it to someone on eBay at that point in time. The guy gets it. And about 3 weeks later, he says the processor has died. So he's demanding a refund. And I said, no. Why don't we send it to the manufacturer and I'll pay for it? No worries. I'll pay for it to get over there and I'll make it right. It gets to the manufacturer and they say, the item has been reported stolen by the original owner. There is a police report, and unfortunately, we cannot give it back. So the guy is flipping out. He is just like, I can't believe it. Why would you sell me something stolen? And I'm like, dude, I bought it from someone else. Now, of course, I knew I wasn't going to go back over there where I bought it and knock on the door and probably get canned or, get capped. I wasn't going to do that. I knew that I shouldn't go back there. So basically, lesson learned, right? I bought it from the wrong people only to be reported stolen soon after. So I had to refund the money because I had sold it through eBay. So all the money that I had made up until that point, gone, lost it. had no processor, had none of my money. There was a police report that was filed for the piece from, I guess, the house that was broken into. And they basically, said, you got to give the money back to the buyer, or we're going to have to take this with the authorities. And of course, at that point, this is 15 years ago, guys. I had to refund the money and start from ground zero, from scratch. At that point, I am not married. I don't have a wife. I don't have any kids. I'm on my own. I have a regular job, of course, but I am essentially back to zero. All the hustling that I have been doing, all the ins and outs, just to be able to try different components, had come to a complete halt.